Hi guys, Jim here again with another Sudoku video where today we will be doing a sandwich Sudoku from the puzzle minds of Cracking the Cryptic. They are a terrific channel, definitely go check them out. This puzzle is part of a collection of puzzles that well, I don't think they pulled them, they didn't make them all, but they've curated them and they've collected them from around the community and put them out for general consumption. There's 7 or 8 different collections you can access on Steam or on the App Store on your phone, which is the way I originally played these actually. Yeah, lots of different variants of the classic Sudoku theme. We'll see an interesting one today, Sandwich Sudoku. But yeah, no, the guys have their own YouTube channel, and they're terrific. They solve puzzles much harder than I'm doing, in a much more entertaining ways, I'm sure. So yeah, go check them out. Go check them out. Okay, so right now I will explain just briefly the app again. So this app, as you play through the puzzles, you earn stars depending on the star rating of the star difficulty of the puzzle in question, and you need to beat the earlier puzzles to unlock the later ones anyway. So you can see, and there's 100 puzzles in each individual collection. I've done 2 of these already, so we're going to jump into the third, and I'll explain Sandwich Sudoku right now. Yeah, interesting thing with Sandwich Sudoku is these clues outside the grid, and the way they work is they tell you, you see we don't have very many numbers, right? So it's normal Sudoku rules, so 1 through 9 in every box, row and column. But in addition, you get told these cryptic numbers around the edge, and what they tell you is that the number here is the value you get if you add up all the digits between 1 and 9, right? So there's a 1, 9 somewhere on this row, and that 15 is basically saying, let's say that the 1 was here and the 9 was here. Basically, that's saying, look, the 3 digits between those 2 numbers add up to 15. You know, and so they could be, and interesting, if you click the clues, you actually get a breakdown of the things that it could be. So it could be 2, 5, 8. So this could be 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. Right. So yeah, and that's basically it. So it's interesting that it solves so neatly with so few given clues. One of the first things you should probably do, and this is sort of, the app teaches you this, it gives you some tips and tricks in earlier videos, is to try and identify the 1s and 9s. So don't even worry about the other digits really for the time being. You're just trying to get the 1s and 9s sorted. And you can see you'll almost always get a 1 or a 9, at least one. I think you do need to have at least one or 9 in the puzzle somewhere at the start, because otherwise it wouldn't solve uniquely, because you'd be left with 1s and 9s interchangeable everywhere. I think kind of makes logical sense. Anyway, right, let's get on with it. Right, so now the obvious starting point for these sandwich puzzles is big clues. So 15 and 14 not very useful, because well, we saw, right, you can make it out of 4, 3 or 2 cells even, so there's a big variance there. But 30 is tremendous, because 30 can only be done in 2 ways, and more importantly, it can only be done either with a gap, like a sandwich filling of 5 cells or 6 cells, as you can see there. And the fact that they've given us this 1 in the 30 clue is an obvious place to start. So first things first, the sandwich obviously can't extend to the left, so I can rule out the left side of this 1, and I do that with a cross there. So cross out what can't be a 1 or a 9. And then because the smallest it could be is a 5 cell run, I know that none of these 5 cells can be a 9 either, because if I put the 9 here, that would only give me 3 cells with which to make my sandwich, and it needs at least 5. So this is the earliest cell that could be a 9. Now, do you see the problem? It's not a 9, it's a 6. So in fact, I know that that is a 9, because there's no other option to fit the sandwich into the row. So that's quite useful, as you can see. And then the other thing, so I said don't worry about the other digits, but we know that it basically the 6 cell clue doesn't have a 5. That's the 1 cell that you're missing. So I can stick a 5 in the outside cell here, because I know it's not in there, basically. So yeah, so that was quite a helpful place to start. The other interesting ones are zeros. So zeros basically mean the 1 is next to the 9. So in this row, I know, sorry, in this column, I know that the 1 is next to the 9. Therefore, none of these 6 cells can be a 1 or a 9. So I can cross them out. I like to grey out the clue so I know that I don't need to look at it again. So eventually you whittle them away. Yeah, so this is interesting. So we've got a 0 clue here. So the 1 and the 9 are next to each other. Clearly the 1 can't be here because I've crossed it off, but also you can just look over and you can see a 1 there. So that must be a 1. And that tells us that this whole row, this whole column, is not a 1 or a 9 anymore because I've used them up. Right, so 5 has to go next to the 9, right? 5 you can make 5 either with just the digit 5 or with the digits 2 and 3. Now, interestingly, of course, for Sudoku, you could make a 5 using a 1 and a 4 as well. So if you've ever done a killer Sudoku, you'll know that that's quite a common 2-cell combo. But because we're only looking at the sandwich filling, you can't reuse the 1 because you know the 1 and the 9 have to be on either end, right? It's the bread. Yeah, you can't use a 1 in any of the combinations for these outside clues. So we can only make it with a 1 or with a 2 or a 3. So why is that interesting? So the interesting thing here is I know that these 2 cells are not a 1 because they'd be next to the 9 and that's no good. I also know that the most that the 5 can be is these. So the 1, if I knew that the 1 was over here, in fact I do, but I'll explain this in a bit. So the 1 can either be here and that would be a 5, or it could be here and that would be 2, 3, but it could never be here. So I know for a fact that, and just by symmetry, that they cannot be 1s. Now actually I can do a bit more here because I can't put a 1 in either of these because there's already a 1 in the box. So in fact there is a 1 over here. I don't know which one it is. So this could be a 5 and a 1, or it could be 2, 3 and a 1, or the 2, 3 pair and a 1. I don't know. But what that does mean is I know that none of these are a 1 or a 9, so I can cross that out. I can in fact see that that's not a 9, so I could have spotted that pencil mark is wrong earlier. But anyway, so that becomes the 9 for sure. That sorts out the 1s and 9s in this box, so we can get rid of those. This gives us a 1 in one of these cells. Do I know which? I do know which, because the clue is a 13, and I cannot put 13 in one cell. Can't make that a 13. Unfortunately, it's not how Sudoku works. So that indeed must be the 1 for that row to work. That means I can cross these off as well. Can I just have a look? Yeah, there's a few options. So I'm gonna leave that alone for the time being. I've used this 0 clue, so let's grey that one out. Okay, so the 14 clue, so the minimum, this is where it's a bit frustrating. So 2, 3, and 4 cells are all at play here, so I can't actually do very much with this column at all just yet. So we'll ignore that for now. Okay, so 4 is an interesting one. You can only make 4 by the single digit 4 because, as we've said earlier, you can't use a 1 to make your sum, so it couldn't be a 1 and a 3, which would be your other option to make a 4. So I know that somewhere on this column there is a triple that goes 1, 4, 9, or 9, 1, 4. And if I look here, I've already used the 9 in this box, so I can't go upwards for my sandwich, so it must come down. In fact, it must go 4, 9 like that, and I can cross off the rest of this column because I've used up 1 and 9 already. Right, so in fact this is useful. So I know that the 14 has to be at least 2 cells, right? Could be as many as 4, but it's at least 2. So I can definitely cross off the 2 cells next to this 1. I'll just do that straight away. In fact, I can do that with this 14 as well, can't I? Yeah, so it's at least 2. So I can cross these off, because the closest the 1 could be to this 9 is 2 cells away, so it could never be here. Right, what else can we do? Yeah, so the 2 clue in this column, right? So we know, again, you can only have a 2 by itself. So in some order, there will be a 1, 9, 2, 1, 2, 9, or 9, 2, 1 with 2 in the middle. And if we look here, there's not enough space here, and then there's crosses everywhere else. So we need 3 spare cells with which we can put 9 and 2. We know the 2's in the middle, and then as it happens, we can see the 1 here sorts out the 9 and the 1 in that order. I can kill that clue, and I can cross these off. I can cross these off. So that's helpful. So I know, actually, yeah, so where did the 1, 9 go in this column now? Well, they must go in this box. They surround a 5, and so it must be 1, 9, 5 in some order. So I know these are a 1, 9, and 9. And interestingly, this app gives you the 1, 9 paired button, so I can just click that once to get me to get my comma. Now interestingly, right, we know that's a 1 and a 9, and we know it's a 0 clue. So 0 clue means the 1 and 9 are next to each other, as we've already described. So that must be a 1, 9 in some order. In fact, it's a 1, isn't it? Because there's a 9 in the box. That resolves that. Which resolves that. And then these two cannot be a 1, 9 because I've already used that. And that box has also got its 1, 9 complement sorted out. Okay, so the 7 clue must extend this way. 7 can be from 2 cells or 1 cell, so it's at least 1 cell. So that can't be a 1. And then there is a 1 pencil marked in here somewhere. There's a 9 out here somewhere, isn't it? Right. 22 has to be at least 4 cells, so that can't be a 9. But the 9 could go in there, couldn't it? Okay. We know there's a 9 in here somewhere, so 15. Can you make 15 off of 2 cells? You can. 15's another rough one. But, excuse me, I cannot put a 9 here. So 15 could be 2 cells, or it could be 3 cells, or it could be 4 cells. But I can't do 3 or 4 cells because I cannot close it off with a 9. So the 9, in fact, must go there. That makes this a 7, 8 pair. There we go. 3rd time's the charm. Let me kill those crosses. I can kill this clue as well, so the clue is done. And that sorts out the top row. It gives us some numbers as well. That sorts out that box. That can't have a 1 or a 9 there, obviously. That row is sorted as well. Okay, yeah, and then we're left with the same thing before. So we've got 3 cells available for a 1 and a 9 sandwich with a 7 in the middle. So that must be 1, 9, 7 in some order. There's the 9 over on the right, so it goes 1, 7, 9 like that, or more accurately, I suppose, you'd say that as 9, 7, 1. Okay, and what does this mean? Right, so the 1 up there has sorted out this 1. That can't be a 1, so that makes this a 7 sandwich, rather than a 2, 5 or a 3, 4 sandwich. This is a 0 clue. I was about to say this isn't a 0 clue, but it is a 0 clue. So that must be the 9 to complete that box. And then therefore there is only 1 space left for 1. So I've done all the 1s and 9s. So that's almost always the way. Sandwich Sudokus, you get 1s and 9s done first. And what that means is I can just clear out the crosses because they're not interesting to me. Okay, what we got going on? Right, that's 7 I've done, haven't I? Yeah, and now it's not quite normal Sudoku because these clues are still relevant. So I haven't used a clue. It can give me digits. So just because I've got all the 1s and 9s doesn't mean I've done everything else. So yeah, that's a 5 for instance, which I got from the clue. I've used the 0 clue surely, yes. 4 I've used. Have I used 14? 14 off of 2, that's a 6, 8 pair in some order. So I have used that clue now. I'm not going to get any more value from that clue, so I can click it off. Right, okay, so if you take 1 and 9 out of your 1 through 9 set, the maximum sum, or in fact the remaining sum, is 35. Right, so 1 and 9 add up to 10, the whole lot add up to 45, so the digits between 1 and 9 add up to 35. So these lot add up to 27, so these two add up to 8. Which isn't actually very helpful. Damn it. Okay, fine. So this is 3 cells, and it can't have a 5. Is there anything useful here? 3 cells with no 5. Yeah, I've limited it, so it's 2, 4, 8 or 2, 4, 7. So it can't have. So it must have a 4. that's a 5, so I can kill this clue. This is 10, but it can't be from 3 and 7, so that's a 7. So that's an 8-2 or a 6-4, both of which is fine. That 7 clue is done. This is 4 cells, but it can't have a 6 because the 6 is already in the row. So there's a 7 and an 8 along here. It's not very helpful. Should I try some regular old Sudoku? Well, yeah. Well, this will give me a 5 in this box by that one and that one. Oh, and a 5 up here as well. That's useful. Yes, in fact, I think. Can I finish 5s? Ooh, can't quite finish 5s. I get them to this classic 2 left, but in an X-wing, so it's not very useful. That's 6. Ah, that can't be a 6. You fool! Okay, that's helpful because now this 14 cannot have a 6. Yeah, could never have a 6. That's great. Never mind. Ah, I said these two added up to 8, didn't I? So that's a 3. So this clue is now effectively done. So even though I've not penciled in anything here, I know it can't have 3 or 5. So that clue is done. This must have a 5. Is that useful? It is. So this is a 2, 7, 8 triple. That can't be a 7 because of the 7 in the box. What does that leave us for the row? That's a 4, 6 pair. No, sorry, excuse me, not 4, 6, 4, 3. Ah, and there's a 3 up here. So this must be a 4. This must be a 3. There's a 3 is limited there. 3 is limited there. Is limited here. Actually, that's useful, isn't it? Because that then, yeah, so there's a virtual 3 here by dint of this 3 in the box, so that can't be a 3. And that basically means in this one, 3 is limited to this, and that 3 there sorts that out. So that's a 3. That gives us a 3 over here. That gives us a 3 over here. That gives us a 5. That gives us a 5. Wow. And then I feel like we should be able to at least, yeah, pretty much finish off 3s. So 3s are basically done. Again, barring the shouting. Surely I still can't progress here. What about, or here? That's a 4, 6. Okay. What about 2s? There's not a lot of 2s, are there? That's 2 is in there somewhere. Fives are done. 4s, there's not a lot of 4s either. 4s are there. Seven. Ah, okay, so 7 is there. That's useful. That's useful because that gives us a 2, which gives us an 8. So there's a 2 down here for sure. This gives us a 8, 6 pair, I believe. Ah, right. No. Damn it. How have I still not been able to... Yes, surely. No. That's a 6 to complete the box. That's a 6, 8 pair sorted there then. This 8 has been resolved for a little while because of that 7, 8 pair, hasn't it? That was just me being blind. 8 must be in one of 2 places in this box. That's an 8, 4 pair. Ooh, this 2 then is trapped, isn't it? That must be a 7. I can't believe I still can't do. Oh, surely now. There we go. Can't have a 8. So it is in fact a 3, 4, 7. 3, 4, 7, and I've got 1. And in fact 3's here. Sort that out. So that is a 3. That's a 3. That's an 8. That leaves just one place for the 8 in that box. 8 can go there. This is a 4, 2 pair. Is that useful? This is also a 4, 2 pair. Oh, I put 4, 8 here. That's clearly not right. That leaves us a 6. Which leaves us a 6 pair there. This is a 6, 4. No. Yes, it is, and that's 6 source. I think this has done it. So that's a 4, that's a 6. That's a 7, that's a 2. That's a 4. That's an 8, that's a 4. That's a 7, that's a 2. And then... Wow, no, this clue is still resisting. There we go. Not anymore. It is a 6, 4 pair. Excuse me. In this order. That is a 2. That is a 4. That is a 2. That is a 4. That is a 7. That's an 8. What's this to complete the column? We need a 6. We need a 2 somewhere. 2's been lacking 2's this whole time. 7 in there. 7 in here is useful. What's this? 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 7. Oh, wow. That was tough. 1 star. No. That was tough. Yeah. Well, it was it tough? Getting the 1s and 9s sorted was alright, and then it was a little painful to kind of complete the rest of it. But there you go. Really enjoyed that. It's nice to be challenged, even on a 1-star puzzle. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed the video, and until next time, I will see you later. Take care. Cheers.